Our Bible lesson for this morning is in the Gospel of Mark. We are walking through the Gospel of Mark, and we are already in chapter 6. And we're going to get the whole chapter today, so I hope you guys will be able to follow me there, because if you don't understand what I'm saying, it's right there, so you can read with me. But Mark 6 is a lot of stories, but it's the same theme, and this is what we're getting. We're getting just the basic. We're not going to all the details, but some of them. Jesus left there and went to his hometown, accompanied by his disciples. When the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were amazed. Where did this man get these things? They asked. What's this wisdom that has been given him, that he even does miracles? Isn't this the carpenter? Isn't this Mary's son, and the brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? Aren't his sisters here with us? And they took offense at him. Jesus said to them, only in his hometown, among his relatives, in his own house, is a prophet without honor. He could not do any miracles there except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them. And he was amazed at their lack of faith. Then Jesus went around teaching from village to village, calling the 12 to him. He sent them out 2 by 2 and gave them authority over evil spirits. These were his instructions. Take nothing for the journey except a staff. No bread, no bag, no money in your belts. Wear sandals, but not an extra tunic. Whenever you enter a house, stay there until you leave that town. And if any place will not welcome you, listen to you, shake the dust off your feet when you leave as a testimony against them. They went out and preached that people should repent. They drove out many demons and anointed many sick people with oil and healed them. King Herod heard about this, for Jesus' name had become very well known. Some were saying John the Baptist has been raised from the dead, and that is why miraculous powers are at work in him. Others said he is Elijah, and still others claim he is one of the prophets, like one of the prophets of long ago. But when Herod heard this, he said, John, the man I beheaded, has been raised from the dead. For Herod himself had given orders to have John arrested and had him bound and put in prison. He did this because of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, whom he had married. For John had been saying to Herod, it is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. So Herodias nursed a grudge against John and wanted to kill him. But she was not able to, because Herod feared John and protected him, knowing him to be a righteous and holy man. When Herod heard John, he was greatly puzzled, yet he liked to listen to him. Finally, the opportune time came. On his birthday, Herod gave a banquet for his high officials and military commanders and the leading men of Galilee. When the daughter of Herodias came in and danced, she pleased Herod and his dinner guest. The king said to the girl, ask me for anything you want, and I will give it to you. And he promised her with a note, whatever you ask, I will give you up to half my kingdom. Can you believe that? Half of my kingdom. And what she asked. At once the girl hurried into the king. She talked with her mother, what should I ask? The head of John the Baptist, she answered. At once the girl hurried into the king with a request. I want you to give me right now the head of John the Baptist on a platter. The king was greatly distressed, but because of his oaths and his dinner guests, he did not want to refuse her, so he immediately sent an executioner with orders to bring John's head. The men went, beheaded John in the prison, and brought back his head on a platter. He presented it to the girl, and she gave it to her mother. On hearing of this, John's disciples came and took his body and laid in the tomb. The apostles gathered around Jesus and reported to him all they had done and taught. Then, because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. So they went away by themselves in a boat in a solitary place, but many who saw them leaving recognized them and ran on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. By this time it was late in the day, so his disciples came to him. This is a remote place, they said. And it is already very late. Send the people away so they can go to surround the countryside and villages and buy themselves something to eat. But he answered, you give them something to eat. They said to him, that would take 8 months of a man's wage. Are we to go and spend that much on bread and give it to them to eat? How many loaves do you have? He asked. Go and see. When they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. Then Jesus directed them to have all the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of 150, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looked up to heaven. He gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to his disciples to set before the people. He also divided the 2 fish among them all. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked it up. 12 basketfuls of broken pieces of bread and fish. The number of the men who had eaten was 5,000. Immediately Jesus made his disciples get into a boat and go ahead of him to Bethsaida, while he dismissed the crowd. After leaving them, he went up to a mountainside to pray. When evening came, the boat was in the middle of the lake, and he was alone on land. He saw the disciples straining at the oars because the wind was against them. About the 4th watch of the night, he went out to them, walking on the lake. He was about to pass by them, but when they saw him walking on the lake, they thought he was a ghost. They cried out because they all saw him and were terrified. Immediately he spoke to them and said, take courage, it is I, don't be afraid. Then he climbed into the boat with them, and the wind died out. They were completely amazed, for they had not understood about loaves. Their hearts were hardened. When they had crossed over, they landed in Gennesaret and anchored there. As soon as they got out of the boat, people recognized Jesus. They ran throughout that whole region and carried the sick on mats to whatever they heard he was. And wherever he went, in the village, towns, and countryside, he placed the sick into the marketplaces. They begged him to let them touch even the edge of his cloak. And all who touched it, were healed. And this is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Let us pray. Father, help us to understand your word. We pray that your Spirit will bring this word into our hearts. We pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. This whole text here, this whole chapter here, deals with just one thing. Well, we could go to all the details and all the stories and add something here and there. But the idea here is the ignorance about Jesus. And that is the question not only for them, it's the question for us. Who is Jesus? Who is Jesus? Who Jesus really is? People are not sure anymore. We're living in a time that people are kind of questioning everything. Religion, denomination, Christianity, faith, everything. And paganism is growing so fast here that we start considering the possibility that there is other gods out there. Not Jesus is not the only one. There are other gods there. So ignorance about Jesus, about the Bible, about Christianity is so present in our time. And it's very important for us to understand. And Jesus here, Mark here, brought all those stories together because Peter is telling the stories to Mark. And so he's bringing all those stories together. And the stories and events that help us to understand about why people were so ignorant about Jesus and what the ignorance does and doesn't do. And they had their problem. We have our problems and our challenges. And we still have a lot of ignorance about Jesus, his person, his work. And we don't know. They didn't know about about him, and we don't know about him, and that is the challenge that we face. So these stories here, they help us to understand a few things about the ignorance about Christ. The first one is the cause of that ignorance. Why people don't know Jesus. Why they don't know Jesus. And there's at least three here in this story, in this chapter 6, that we learn with Mark. The first one is disbelief. Disbelief caused by partial knowledge. This is when Jesus went to the synagogue, started hometown. They knew him. Their kids playing with Jesus. Their kids went to school with Jesus. And now Jesus is teaching, doing miracles. And the guy said, isn't this the carpenter? I think that he built a table for me. Is this Mary's son? Is this guy the brother of the sisters are here with us? And all that kind of thing. And they could not believe that that man that they saw growing up was the Messiah, the Son of God. Partial knowledge, disbelief. The second cause that Mark helps us here and tells us here is confusion. They were not sure who Jesus was, and they said, "Well, this is John the Baptist that resurrected. Oh, no, this is Elijah that came back. Oh, this is one of the prophets." And the apostles, when they saw him, Jesus walk on the water, said, "This is a ghost. He can walk on the water." Confusion. And sometimes we face this. You know, people are facing this. They don't know which Jesus is a good man. Oh, he's a good teacher. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. And they get one part or the other. But they don't get the whole story. And finally, the last cause is hearts. The hearts are hard. This is what the disciples had a problem with. When they saw all those things happen and they couldn't put things together, they couldn't understand what's going on because their hearts were hard. That's the ultimate cause for anyone who does not know Jesus. Their hearts are not ready to believe in Jesus. So those are the causes of ignorance. But not only that we learn in this story here, there's another thing very important for us that we learn about the ignorance about Jesus. And it's a good thing because ignorance about Jesus does not impede wonders. Ignorance about Jesus, of who Jesus is, will not stop miracles in our lives. Isn't that great? That is the beauty of the grace of God. Our lack of knowledge about Jesus will not stop or impede the wonders to happen and miracles. He will perform miracles even if we don't know him very well. He will do anyway. The challenge is sometimes they will diminish in quantity. This is what happened when Jesus was teaching the synagogue. The Bible says that he could not do a lot of miracles there because of their lack of faith. But he did some miracles there. So we will diminish the quantity, but will not stop him. The other thing that we learn is that they will credit that to other people. This is what happened. They said they saw the miracle. So is John the Baptist that resurrected, came back. Herod's killed him, and now he's back, and he's doing all the miracles and all that kind of thing. It is sad because sometimes we give credit to other people for the miracles that God performed in our lives. You have a problem, you have a challenge, you have a situation, you pray to God, and something happened, and you say, "I got lucky. I got lucky today." No, you did not get lucky. God did something for you. Oh, my doctor is very good. Thank God for that. But he was just an instrument in your life. And we keep giving credit to other people. This is what they did. They gave credit to other people. And sometimes the miracle will happen, and when the miracle happens, it will provoke a terror. This is what happened with the disciples right in the middle of the lake. Against the wind and all that kind of thing. And then Jesus started walking, and this is going to pass by. And they were terrified. Sometimes because of our lack of knowledge, our ignorance about Jesus and His power, His grace, and His mercy, when we see something extraordinary, we are terrified. We're amazed because, oh, we're not supposed to see those things anymore. Jesus did well. And one more thing that we learned with Mark that I'd like to share with you. The ignorance about Jesus does not impede, does not stop ministry, does not block ministry. Even if we don't know well, we still can do something, we still can be involved. We don't know the whole picture, but we still can do something for the kingdom of God, for the ministry, and this is what we have here. Even with limitations, this is what we have. Jesus, when sent His disciples, very interesting, He said, I'm going to send you 2 by 2, all the leaders. But He said, you're not supposed to take this, you don't take that, you don't take this, you don't take that. And He gave a list of things that they should not take with them. I'll go. The what? I'll go. But you're not going to take anything? No, now you go. And I'll meet you when you finish there, we're going to get someplace together. Limitations. We have a ministry to do. Jesus has a ministry for us to do. And sometimes we have limitations. But we can do anyway. We can do anyway. Lack of faith and knowledge will limit our ministry. Even though we will be able to do what God commands us to do. The other thing about ministry here is even in a great challenge, they had 5,000 men. Can you believe that? 5,000 men. They didn't count the ladies, they didn't count the children, and some people believe that they didn't count the elderly people. There were 5,000 men that day. And Jesus turned to the disciples and said, you go feed them. They were what? Yes, you go feed them. We don't have that kind of money. 8 months of salary to feed everybody here. We don't know. He said, okay, we're going to do it together. What do you have? We have fish. We have bread. He said, ask people to sit down in groups. Feed 100. He prayed. We break the bread, the fish, gave it to the disciples. The disciples started distributing. Everybody was fed. Everybody received something to eat and ate. Great challenge. Sometimes God will invite us to participate in great challenges and we think that we cannot do. I cannot do in my situation, my age, my health, whatever. I cannot do. And He will challenge us and say, yes, you can do. I will do with you. Great challenge. And finally, even when we are insignificant, this is one of the most beautiful stories that I know, and I don't have time, and I'm going to preach about that. Maybe one day I'll be back here and preach a sermon on this text here. It's when people start going to the market, bring everybody, and all that kind of put them on the ground, and let Jesus going to pass by. And you just stretch your hand and you touch the edge of His cloak. What was it? The edge of that was the dirtiest part of His cloak. The one that was in contact with the ground. And they said, you stretch your hand and touch whatever you can grab. And the Bible says that whoever touched it was healed. Maybe you consider yourself, I consider myself that little edge all the way down there with dirty dust and all that kind of thing. I'm right there. And what Jesus is telling you, what Mark is telling you here is, you know what? Someone can, through you, touch in Jesus. So ignorance will not impede, stop ministry. Ministry can happen even though, or even when we are ignorant. If we do not know Him, we do not believe in Him. If we do not believe in Him, then we are in trouble. We are not Christians at all. More we know Him, more we believe in Him. More we believe in Him, more He will use us in His kingdom. He wants to use each one of us. No matter who you are, no matter how much you know or how much you don't know, you can be used. You can see things. You can be transformed. People can be touched by Jesus through you. Let us bow our heads and let us pray. Father, we thank you for these stories here, so rich. Help us to learn. Help us to know Jesus every day of our life. Help us to grow in our knowledge